Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So today I'd like to discuss a bill that is being discussed in the House and Senate in Texas that is being discussed in the media as a bill that would mandate the use of OEM parts and repair procedures in newer vehicle repairs, which is something that I would be massively against. Because this is something I'd be massively against, I had a bias when I was reading this news and when I was being forwarded information on this as somebody who considers himself a right to repair advocate, which is why I thought it would be really important to actually read the bill to try to understand what was going on. So the first thing I'd like to do is I would like to read the propaganda from the repair side, and the next thing I'd like to do is I'd like to read the text of the actual bill and have you decide if my stance on this is reasonable. Bill overview. Following passage in the Texas Senate, Senate Bill 1083 in the Texas House of Representatives is currently considering a measure, House Bill 3476, that would push consumers to use original equipment manufacturer collision repair parts, severely limiting the accessibility of aftermarket parts and hurting consumers' right to repair their cars. So they're invoking right to repair in this. Let's see how much that is true when it continues. The measure creates a default preference for the use of OEM parts, products, and repair processes on motor vehicles within 3 years of its purchase date. Senate Bill 1083 passed the Texas Senate. If House Bill 3476 is passed by the Texas House, it will be effective September 1st. How this bill impacts Texans. Number 1, spikes insurance rates. Texas drivers are already feeling the impacts of rapidly rising auto insurance rates, which jumped by 23.8% in 2022, the highest annual increase in 20 years. Senate Bill 1083 and its parts mandate will only make matters worse for consumers by increasing insurance costs and rates even more. 2, exacerbate supply chain issues. Recent global supply chain slowdowns and workforce shortage issues have led to a scarcity of available auto parts and prolonged wait times at the repair shop. SB1083 would worsen delays by shrinking the pool of available car part replacement options. Kills industry competition. Senate Bill 1083 creates a default preference for OEM parts, which can cost hundreds of dollars more than replacement parts from independent manufacturers, despite the fact that aftermarket parts often obtain the exact same safety certifications as OEM parts. Senate Bill 1083 picks winners and losers in the auto parts industry to the detriment of Texas customers. Creates red tape. Senate Bill 1083 forces car owners wanting to use non-OEM parts and products to sign written disclosures at the time of repair. This needlessly creates new hurdles in the car repair process and does not allow car owners to opt out of the higher insurance rates they will pay. Lastly, ignores voter interest. According to 2021 survey data from the Car Coalition, 90% of vehicle-owning Texans agree that consumers should be able to choose between OEM and aftermarket car parts when making repairs. Let me repeat that. Texas voters agree that consumers should be able to choose between OEM and aftermarket car parts when making repairs. So let's read the text of the bill to try and figure out if they're actually taking away your ability to do that. When I take a look at this Senate bill over here, and I'm going to read the parts that I find to be most relevant to you right now, it says, for damage to a motor vehicle that has been owned by the insured for 36 months or less and that was a new motor vehicle when delivered to the insurer, 1, is required to require that a part, product, or repair process used to repair the vehicle would be the original equipment manufacturer's or distributor's part, product, or repair process unless the insured opts to use non-original equipment in accordance with subsection F, and 2, is prohibited from limiting the beneficiary of the policy from selecting a repair person or facility to repair damage to the vehicle. This authorizes an insured or third-party claimant to opt to accept the use of non-original equipment in the repair of the insured's or claimant's motor vehicle by signing a written disclosure. It requires that the disclosure be signed before repair begins, be delivered as an attachment to the written estimate provided for the repair of the vehicle, and be written in at least 12-point font. Okay, now, do I think that there is a pressing need for this bill to pass? No. But is calling this a bill that would ban aftermarket parts on vehicles that are less than 3 years old honest? Not even close. Not even close. Customers have to sign a written estimate before they do repairs, and they have to sign a document with their insurance company so that they can get the process started to start a claim once they have a crash. This is something that you already have to do. All this bill would do is have an extra paragraph that says, hey, in size 12 font, so you can see it. By the way, let me know if you want us to be able to use aftermarket parts. Let me know if you want us to be able to use aftermarket parts because this is how we keep insurance rates low. You have the option. So in the propaganda, what they're saying, and it kills me to say this because I am very pro right to repair, but it's because I love right to repair and care about right to repair that I don't like it being used in this way to oversell something and try to scare or fearmonger you into something that is not true. It says over here, even if in their own propaganda, it says it forces you to sign a written disclosure when you already have to sign the written estimate that already has 5 pages of fine print before this bill even came out to begin with. It says Texas voters agree that consumers should be able to choose between OEM and aftermarket parts while making repairs, which is 100% true. This bill does not ignore that voter interest. It gives you the option to choose. Now, personally, from my experience, the parts is not where they get you. If you go to a place that sucks, that does car repair like I had to do recently, I've never left a 1-star review for a repair shop in my life in 15 years, but this one really did take the case. If you go to a place like Caliber Collision that doesn't put the nuts in the car when you get them repaired, the problem that you may experience, even if they did use OEM parts, is that they start to fall off the car. So let's say you're going straight in the highway, you hear clink, and then your car just starts doing this. If you go to a place that does aftermarket repairs that suck, like in my opinion, Caliber Collision, regardless of whether they're using OEM parts or aftermarket parts, your repair is still going to be garbage because they didn't even bother to screw it in. I don't think that the issue is like OEM versus non-OEM. I think it's, does the person who's fixing my car give a crap, know what they're doing, or are they massively overworked because the parent company buys up a bunch of smaller collision centers, understaffs them to milk as much money as possible, that winds up doing unsafe repairs like what happened to me. That is, in my opinion, the actual problem here, and this bill is not a bill that's going to solve the actual issues when it comes to aftermarket repairs. It's not going to solve the issue when it comes to third parties. I think the insurance companies are being just the right amount of cynical. They know that most customers are going to check the box that says, yes, I want the original part only, while simultaneously complaining next year when their insurance goes up by 50%. The same way that I used to talk about this, there's a story that I used to tell a long time ago. I'm never going to forget. There was this one customer that had a sticker on their device. It was a Bernie Sanders sticker that said fight for 15, and they asked why a certain repair was about $60 at my repair shop when it was $50 at a place down the street. The place down the street had the shop owner's nephew or something. You could tell this was like a 10 or a 12-year-old kid working the front desk. And I pointed to the gentleman's sticker. I said that the person that works the front desk at my business makes a living wage, whereas the person that works the front desk at that business is probably working there for candy or, I don't know, Game Boy game, whatever the hell kids these days want. And that's why it costs more. And they just sighed and walked down the street. That person's professed values did not actually happen to align with the actions they took in reality, or because they don't care. Like, you fight for 15, whatever. You're more than happy to go down the block to the place where this kid is making like $5 a day or some shit instead of an actual wage because they're 10, then pay us $10 more to have somebody who has an honest to God job and a living at my company doing this. And I have many stories like this that I could tell that I'm not going to because this video would be 2 hours long. The TLDR here is that people's actions and what they claim they want very often winds up going against what they actually want, but they're looking at the short term. And I think insurance companies are assuming that their customers don't know any better because at the end of the day, even people that do know better wind up making decisions that screw them later. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that I don't think that we should be scaring or fear-mongering people with stuff that's not true. Texas bill would mandate use of OEM parts and repair procedures is not true. All you need to do is check whatever little thing is there in size 12 font, and then you can go back to doing business just as you did before. If you want an OEM bumper on your vehicle, you can get that. If you want an aftermarket bumper, you get that. And if you want a carrot put on your vehicle, I guess, maybe for the carrot people in Discord, you'll get that. The bill is very clear. Now, again, do I think this solves the problem? No, because at the end of the day, at least in my limited experience, it's not whether or not you're getting OEM parts or not. It's whether the person that's putting the OEM parts on your car actually puts the parts on your car that you paid for. And there are certain places where you may or may not get that level of service. At the end of the day, it doesn't come down to whether you're getting an OEM or a non-original. It's down to whether or not the place that you're doing the repair knows what they're doing and is going to screw it up. I personally don't think that this is the most pressing issue facing customers that want to get their car repaired at this point in time, so I probably wouldn't push for this bill to be passed, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to make things up about it that are not true to try and fearmonger customers into believing that in the state of Texas, if your car is less than 3 years old, you have to go to the dealer, because that is just a load of crap. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As I have said many times in this channel, I am not an automotive mechanic. I'm not an automotive repair professional. And if you are, and you think that I've gotten anything wrong in discussion of this bill, please do let me know because, again, I fix MacBook motherboards. Cars is not exactly my thing. But I just thought this was important to get out there because I've been getting a lot more emails from people saying, look, Louis, the state you moved to is looking to ban third-party car repairs. And again, I'm not really for this bill. I'm not really excited for it, but that's just not true. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now. not even remotely close to Linus territory yet, but I'm working on it. We have these little mugs that say clouds are for rain, making fun of the fact that the world is moving towards cloud services for everything. Clouds are for rain. No to subscriptions, privacy risks, service shutdowns, closed ecosystems, platform lock-ins, and always online. We have the good old-fashioned Johnny Deary's tears making fun of a certain manufacturer in the state of Colorado that may or may not have had it stuck to them by the governor and the right to repair bill that just passed recently. And it's not lying, it's commercial real estate. We also used to have a dealership tears mug and a bunch of other stuff at this length that for some reason is not showing up. I'm going to try to figure out why that is after I'm done with this video. And we have this Atten hot air rework station that is still on sale for $204.99, free shipping, and now same-day shipping from our store in Austin, Texas, for anybody who's interested in the hot air station we use for all our repairs. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something.